Let's talk about something that affects every single one of us. Who actually owns your digital self? I mean, really owns it. Is it you? Or is it the dozens, maybe hundreds of platforms you log into every single day? Well, we're about to dive into a pretty radical new vision for digital identity, one that's all about putting you, and only you, back in control. We're talking about the idOS network.
All right, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at why our digital identity is just broken. Then, we'll get into the dream of self-sovereignty. After that, we'll tackle the missing piece, trust. And then, we'll see how idOS, the Web3 identity layer, pulls it all together. And finally, the big one, what this all means for you.
Okay, first up, our digital identity is broken. And really, this all comes down to a crisis of control.
So, let me ask you something. Just take a second and actually think about it. How many online accounts and passwords do you have? Seriously. Is it 10, 50, 100, maybe more? Each one of those is a tiny piece of you, right? A digital fragment of your life just sitting on some company's server. And let's be honest, it's probably protected by a password you've used somewhere else. It's a total mess. And it's not just messy, it's incredibly insecure. And here's the reality of the situation. Your personal data isn't in one place. It's scattered across countless company databases. Data breaches? They're not even surprising anymore, are they? It's like, oh, another Tuesday, another massive data leak. We've almost gotten used to it. And this is the part that really gets me. Big tech platforms don't just hold your identity, they basically own it. You're renting your digital life from them, and you have little to no real control over how that data gets used or misused. It makes true digital privacy feel like a total illusion. So that's the problem. But what's the solution? Let's talk about the dream of self-sovereignty, a completely new way of thinking. What if we could just flip this whole broken model on its head? I mean, what if instead of renting your identity, you actually owned it? For real? Well, that's the core idea behind this revolutionary concept, self-sovereign identity. So what is self-sovereign identity, or SSI? It's actually a pretty simple idea, but it's profound when you think about it. It means you and only you create and control your own identity, period. No more asking permission from some giant company, no more relying on a central authority to tell the internet who you are.
And this right here, this shows you the massive shift we're talking about. We're moving from the old way, centralized systems, platform-controlled, where you're just renting your identity, to the new way. That new way is a decentralized network. It's user-controlled. You're not renting anymore, you are owning your identity. And your data, it's not stuck in these silos anymore. It becomes this portable thing, like a passport that you carry with you across the web.
Okay, so how does this work under the hood? Well, a key piece of the puzzle is something called a decentralized identifier, or a DID. The easiest way to think about it is like a phone number for your identity that you get to own for life, for real. It's not tied to a phone company, it's not tied to a social media platform, it's just yours, forever. And it's anchored in a way that means no one can ever take it away from you.
And these DIDs, they work together with something else that's super cool, verifiable credentials, or VCs. Think of a VC as a digital stamp in your passport. So let's say a government agency gives you a VC that proves you're over 21. Now, when you need to prove your age online, you don't show your entire driver's license with your name, address, and everything else. You just show that one specific stamp. That's it. It's called selective disclosure, and for privacy, it's an absolute game changer.
All right, the missing piece, trust. So, everything we've talked about, user control, privacy, owning your data, it sounds amazing, right? But it brings up a huge, massive question, maybe the most important question. In this new decentralized world, how does anyone actually trust anything?
Yeah, exactly this. In a world with no central gatekeeper, how does anyone prove you are who you say you are, right? If there's no big company in the middle saying, yep, that's them, how does that website you're visiting know your over 21 credential is legit? How do we connect this cool new digital identity to a real, living, breathing person? If we can't solve this trust problem, the whole beautiful dream just falls apart.
Well, turns out the answer, or at least a huge part of it, doesn't come from some brand new crypto tech. It actually comes from an established legal framework. It's called idOS. It's a regulation from the EU that's been around, and it's specifically designed to create a rock-solid, predictable foundation for digital trust. And this is the key to solving that trust puzzle.
And what idOS does, essentially, is create a bridge. It's a bridge from your legally recognized real-world identity, the one on your passport or driver's license, to this new, user-controlled digital identity we've been talking about. It connects that futuristic tech of DIDs and VCs to the legal systems we already know and trust. This is the aha moment. This is what grounds the whole thing in reality and makes it legally meaningful.
Okay, so this brings us to idOS, the Web3 identity layer. So now we have the two big pieces, right? We've got the incredible dream of self-sovereign identity, and we have the legal trust anchor from eIDA. So now, let's look at how the idOS network actually combines these two powerful ideas into a system that works in the real world.
So what is idOS? Put simply, it's a decentralized network that is purpose-built to be the identity layer for Web3. It's the engine that takes the incredible power of user-controlled SSI and combines it with the rock-solid, legal-grade trust of the eIDAS framework. It's not just a theory anymore. This is the network that makes it a reality.
Okay, theory is great, but let's make this super concrete. Let's walk through a real-world scenario. Let's say we have a user named Jane. Jane just wants to do something simple, prove she's over 21 to get into a website. Let's see how the idOS ecosystem makes that happen, but in a way that's both simple and incredibly secure.
Okay, it's basically a three-step process. First, Jane gets verified. A trusted issuer, think a government body, gives her a verifiable credential that proves she's over 21. Step 2, she stores it securely. This credential goes into her personal digital wallet, not a company's wallet, her wallet, that she alone controls. And step 3, this is the magic part. She shares smartly. When that website asks for her age, her wallet only shares the proof that she's over 21, not her name, not her address, not her actual birthday, just the yes or no answer. The website gets what it needs, and Jane's privacy is totally protected. It's secure, it's private, and it's just better.
So, what this means for you. The tech is obviously super interesting, but let's bring it all home. Let's zoom out and talk about the real-world impact. What does this all actually mean for you, for me, for all of us?
Well, for starters, it means fewer passwords and way more security. It means you are finally in the driver's seat. You get to decide exactly what piece of data to share and who you share it with. It means having one single secure identity that works across countless apps and websites. It's the foundation for a genuinely more private and trustworthy internet. And really, it all boils down to one simple, powerful idea. You finally get control of your data back.
You know, there's this fantastic quote from a report by the London School of Economics that I think just nails it. It says, blockchain produces greater effect as an idea than an applied technology. And what that really means is that sometimes the big idea, the concept behind the tech, is even more powerful and revolutionary than the code itself. And that is exactly what we're seeing here. The whole point of Web3, when you strip it all away, isn't just about creating cool new technology. It's about user empowerment. It's about a fundamental shift in power, moving it away from the platforms and back to the individual. And what idOS does is take all this new tech, the blockchain, the DIDs, the VCs, and uses them as tools to make that huge idea of empowerment a real practical thing for every single one of us.
So I want to leave you with this final thought, a question to really chew on. What could we build on an internet where this huge, messy problem of identity is finally solved? I mean, really, truly solved. If we can build this secure, user-owned foundation, what new services, what new kinds of communities, what incredible things become possible? I think we're just scratching the surface.